professional collaboration mean for Roski, and in particular this new agreement that we will have together with ESNE? What does it mean for you and your institution?
Well, Southern California, the University of Southern California in particular, is considered a port, and obviously it's not just international collaboration, but the way that we look at the world is global. It's one of the most diverse places that you'll find probably in the world, and one of the reasons I think that this collaboration would be so interesting for us is, one, we've never done anything in Spain, but your organization is in collaboration with a lot of the same institutions that we are involved with, which means that there's commonality already that's there. So it feels a little like this could be a very natural thing for us.
Given the challenges that are coming in the future for the young generation, from climate change, global warming, hunger, superpopulation in certain countries, art and design has always been related to the problems of the world. So what would you advise, or what kind of thing would you say to students that will face this from their professional occupation?
So I love this question. I'm going to tell you why. I'll first explain why I love the question, and then I'll answer your question. I love this question because I think it's always problematic when you think of this idea that, there are these professions that people go toward. One of the wonderful things about design, and the designers I think that I most admire, is that designers see themselves as problem solvers. Even when they're chasing their own creative vision, the ultimate goal is to somehow make things better. And so I think the challenge for the future has always been embedded in the history of design, which is that good designers solve problems for the world. And with everything that is going on right now, it is also one of the more optimistic fields that are there, because we're not looking at, let's hope, right, the demise of everything. Instead, what we are possibly looking for is much more innovative solutions for things that we had not thought of before. And again, that is where design lives.
Exactly. One of the topics of the moment is the intersection between technology and art and design disciplines. So do you think it will be more a threat or an opportunity for designers in the future?
What I hope will happen with designers is what they've always done, creative people, whether we're talking about artists or designers, which is they take the tools of the moment, and sometimes we break them, and then we reinterpret the way that we use them in order to create better solutions. One of the things I always fear is that we invent a certain kind of technology to do a specific thing because we have a solution goal at the end. And back to this idea that designers are problem solvers at the end of the day. How we get to the solution is not as important as the actual solution itself.
What would you highlight about your professional career overall in education and in the professional field, or maybe only in education, in higher education in particular?
The piece of advice I always have is, I think with creative people, you know who you are. We have very rich internal lives, but say yes to a lot of things if you can. And don't just say yes to the things that you think are going to lead you someplace. The curiosity that you may have, that's the other thing. I'm an extremely curious person. I like gardening and, traveling the world. That all actually has also become part of my professional practice. I think that there is something about understanding that to be awake in the world means that you accept all the things, not just the parts of the labels that you think that that make you either a creative designer, industrial designer, package designer, because you never know what's going to happen. And we do live fairly long lives, and those interests that you have at one age and one phase of your life, obviously in later phases you realize that it can feel a bit like it's you're trapped or you've reached the end of the road. And there's a lot of really amazing things. Going back to the global idea that I had, the world still doesn't look as homogenous as we think it does. It's very different. When you travel a lot, you notice that those cultural differences are at the very heart of it, are really what makes us human, and I love that.